It's the Funny Comics Fan Club.
Good evening, friends.
Oh, that's a low-key beginning.
It's a lovely low-key beginning.
Yeah, hello there. That's what you want in these times of trouble.
We don't know we're recording in advance, John. By the time this goes out, everything could be fine.
Yeah, let's look on the bright side.
Let's look on the bright side.
Yeah, and continuing to look on the bright side, we will say welcome to the Funny Comics Fan Club.
Featuring me, Dr. Mark Hibbett.
And me, still no sign of a doctorate, is John Dredge, non-OBE, non-MBE.
It's a disgrace.
A disgrace to your country.
You would think an honorary doctorate by now, at least, would have come one year your way.
I keep asking. Nothing.
But again, by the time this goes out, if the title does say Professor John Dredge, that's what's going on. It's not a mistake. It's just we're recording ahead of time.
So you're a doctor rather than a professor.
Just a doctor.
Just a doctor.
Just to clear that up. Yeah. Let's get on with it. Come on, John. Get off. Let's shilly shally.
Yeah. Let's not shilly nor shally.
No, neither of the above.
Because we've got a very important 3.5p comic to look at.
3.5 pence.
Yeah.
What's it called? Cool.
So a lot of these comics had just like one word exclamations, didn't they?
They did.
Whoopee, core, blimey, was that one?
Crikey. No.
Wow.
Yes.
Crankle. No, I've just made that word up.
Have you made that word up?
Yeah, I'm going to use it later. But look at this. This is called Core. This issue comes from 12th of August, 1972. 70s fans.
So that's right in the middle of its run because it ran from 1970 to 1974. When it had the inevitable end of all British comics, it merged with Buster Comic.
Great news for all readers.
But it kept going in annual form until 1986.
I mean, why?
My guess, here's my theory. You ready for this?
Yes, Dr. Mark.
Thank you. I reckon it's just a really good name for a comic. Even though, of course, as we're well aware, core is a slang term for gore, as in gore blimey, God blind me. So core is actually called God.
Why? I mean, why did the annuals keep going till 1986?
Because it's a good name. It's just
the name. That's the only reason.
Cool.
Everyone just thought, let's just keep publishing it because of this name.
That's what I reckon.
Okay. And you're a doctor of comics,
so it must be true.
It must be true.
But I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because we looked at Wham the other week, and this is very much. It's like Wham seems to be such a big. It was a big development in the world of comics where they went, oh, we can do comics like this and make them exciting, and this is now
we can just have the bees and they can remain dull.
But then I suppose maybe this is it. Maybe this is the line through that we're looking at, because things like the Beezer, the Dandy, the Beano, those are really old-fashioned words for things that are good. And then we have comics that are called an exclamation instead.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's where so Wham then begat Whoopee, etc.
While we're on this topic, why in comics like this, particularly in funny ones, I think there might be in things like Marvel as well, why does all of the dialogue, almost every line of dialogue always ends with an exclamation mark? What's all that about? Is there a reason for that? Or is it just a funny sort of convention for comics?
I think it's a convention for comics, because in superhero comics, it's the same. It's almost always ends with an exclamation mark. Because it's like going, this is exciting!
Yeah, right, okay. So that's why they do it, because it's like a sort of kicks things into another level.
Because if you read like boring comics or graphic novels...
I've never read boring comic. What's that like? We'll do that one week.
That's a good idea.
boring comic. That lasted for all of 2 issues.
But isn't there a character in this one who's
yeah! There's a character in this, Eddie, he's always bored.
He's always bored. It must have been when it merged with boring comic.
Well, no, I think he was just reading the Beezer up to this point. Actually, I thought Eddie, he's always bored, was a really good character. I don't know what you thought.
What would you have a character in this?
Because kids are always bored. You know, a lot of them. You know, they do wander around the house saying, "What can I do?"
I'm bored.
When I came across this character, Eddie, he's always bored, it reminded me of me as a kid, really. You know, in the back of my mind, I was just thinking, oh God, I used to say to my mum, "What can I do? I'm bored, you know." And then, when you get to become an adult, you accept that boredom and move on.
And you, in many ways, you enjoy the boredom. This very weekend, I went to see an art exhibition.
How boring.
It was great. It was. And I thought, I'm really enjoying this. It's something, oh my word.
And, or you can really do something with the boredom and make it into literature and become Alan Bennett. But this is not Alan Bennett. This is Core Comic. Whoopee, hooray. Is that a comic? Whoop, hooray.
Hooray. No. It's not Alan Bennett, but there are famous people in this comic.
There are famous people in this comic, aren't
there? That's I've intrigued you there, haven't I? I've intrigued you.
I can't remember there being famous people in this
There is. Do you want to talk? Shall we go and have a look at that one, if I can find it?
Yeah, go on then.
Where is it?
Famous people in this comic.
There
all the other
famous people in this comic. Well,
I mean, they're famous to us because we've been doing this for a while too.
I don't want to get anybody too excited. When I said there was famous people in it, what I meant
was
people. The comic strip Jackpot here is one of the first works in comics of Pat Mills and John Wagner.
Gosh, good heavens.
So, yes. So
I do know who they are.
That's Pat. So, for any listeners who don't know who they are, Pat Mills and John Wagner basically wrote everything in British comics in the 70s. John Wagner and Carlos Esquerra invented Judge Dredd. Pat Mills was basically responsible for setting up 2000 AD and wrote loads of stories in it. They are like the biggest writers in British comics.
And and they started with this Jackpot.
They started with this Jackpot story. Yes, this was one of the first things they did.
That's weird, isn't it? I mean, it's an okay strip, but the weird thing about it is that, I didn't think anything about this particular page stood out, but there was, as we know, a Jackpot comic, some years later, and the character turned up in there, I think almost as the main character in it.
It's the main character, yeah. But it's funny, isn't it? Because as we do this, the more of these comics we look at, we keep seeing the same characters keep popping up. And it's like, once they've got a character that kids like, they're going like, right, they're going, we've no idea how this works. Let's just throw everything at it. And occasionally something will work. And they go, don't know why that worked, but let's stick with it. And there are quite a few characters, like Ivor Lott and Tony Breaker in this, aren't they, as well?
Yeah.
And things like that, where characters just keep...
I mean, they do it on TV now, they just put any old rubbish on. And then as soon as something's successful, they make it into a 10-hour special.
Exactly.
And it just keeps going for year upon year.
So with pop music, isn't it? It's like when it's the X Factor, and they're like Simon Cowell or similar, going, I'm a genius and I know how this all works. It's like going, if you're a genius, why does nearly everything you do fail? But the one thing that does work is enough to make up for it. See also publishing.
It's like with TV and they have, Strictly Come Dancing, whatever. As soon as something's successful, they have it goes on for 4 hours and there's like several spin-off shows. And
which reminds me, by the way, I should make clear to our listeners, both John and I refute any gossip that we may have been invited onto Strictly this year. We cannot simply comment on it.
No. Don't ask us about it. We will not tell you anything about it.
No, we'll be in the jungle anyway. So.
But this trip, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing particularly special about it. It's just Jackpot hanging about in an arcade. I mean, you still get arcades. This one looks particularly empty.
Yes.
There's one machine.
There are two machines.
Is there another one?
Yes, one of which...
there's another one, opposite the one that Jackpot is using.
Yes,
and that's lucky.
And the villain, Swanky Watson, you can tell it's a Pat Mills comic, basically right up the sort of going, rich people are bad. Let's have a revolution. You go, Pat.
Yeah, well, I agree with him.
And Swinky says, useless effort, pot. Call yourself an expert. It's like, no, he's playing a slot machine. You can't be an expert. It is a game of chance.
Right. Maybe he's just really good at pulling the handle. He's really got practice in on that.
But then the rest of the comic, a lot of it is one scene again and again. So Swanky Watson holds a scary balloon outside Jackpot's window. That's it. That's what happens. And he's scared by it.
He's scared by it, so he can't sleep. So the sort of ruse is that he wants to make sure he doesn't get any sleep, so it'll be no good to come back to the arcade next day and Swanky Watson will win all the money or something like that.
That's his plan, because obviously if you're too tired to pull a handle randomly allocating science, then you're not going to win. But I love this bit here where it says, the whole night goes through, he can't sleep, and then the caption is, came the morning light.
That sounds like a blooming poem.
So normally they would go, so?
Yeah, or later, or then. No, Pat Mills is going, he's going over the top here. He's making a statement.
came
The morning light.
But then at the end, it's like the punchline is that Jackpot is so good at playing slot machines, you cannot. Again, listeners, by the Gambling Commission says we must give this advice. There is no skill to doing a slot machine. It's completely random.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
he sleepwalks into the arcade, pulls a handle, and wins.
Yeah, so it's a nice sort of punchline at the end, beginning, middle, and end, and that is an improvement on a lot of the comic strips that we've looked at.
It is indeed. And I think it heralds the careers of John Wagner and Pat Mills. There are scary things in it. We hate the rich. There's fury. There's overwordiness. And by and large, it doesn't make sense.
Let's make sure that we let Pat Mills know that this podcast exists, because I don't think we've done that yet. We need to tweet him about
Oh, that's why you're not slagging him off, because you don't want him to come.
I want to slag him off. I went to see him give a talk about 2000 AD, actually.
Right.
And I think it's, well, in an early issue of 2000 AD, there's a load of stickers that was sort of like the Bionic Man.
Yeah.
They did something that was a bit like the Bionic Man, but not exactly like
Biotronic, I think.
Bionic Man. So I remember getting the stickers. I'll tell you why I remember getting them. When I stuck them on myself, I couldn't get them off again. Do you know about this?
I've heard that, yes.
And, you know, I literally could not get these stupid stickers off. And in the end, like, my mum had to sort of get one of those awful pummel stone things and sort of get them off. It was very difficult anyway. And anyway, he told this story at this blooming talk about 2000 AD. He said he had hundreds of complaints from parents that were saying, hey, we can't get these stickers off. Moving back to...
shall we go to Core?
Well, no, let's look at the cover. We haven't looked at the cover.
Go.
What a flaming, yet another cover star of no interest to anybody, don't you think? Gus Gorilla.
Gus, he's a monkey. He's a monkey. He's like a bother monkey, isn't he? Because he's got big boots and he's got braces on.
He's got braces on, so he's a sort of like, I don't know, a sort of cannonball mixed with a monkey.
What I thought the interesting about this was there's two men who are being very horrible to a monkey, and it's by the sea. Is this therefore Hartlepool? Is that what's happening?
Well, I mean, I did wonder why these two sort of nondescript people that looked a bit like bother boys are hanging around making trouble for Gus Gorilla.
Because they're not kids, are they? This
No,
isn't kids.
it's blokes. It's blokes
Men.
hanging about, just trying to make trouble for this gorilla bloke. I mean, there's no explanation for it.
No.
Who are they?
Who are they?
What do they want?
Well,
Why are they here?
But then at the end of it, when all this trouble, and you know, spoilers in case you want to read Core from 12th of August 1972, he goes into the sea on a donkey and catches a fish.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a holiday issue. I don't know
No.
why. I mean, it came out in August, so maybe that's something to do.
And then at the end of it, when Gus Gorilla has got this fish, and this other bloke turns up and says, "Nothing fishy about it. You can't make a monkey out of Gus." It's like, who are you?
So apparently, it's a guy in a cloth cap right at the end. Apparently, this guy appears at the end of all of these Gus Gorilla strips and just says, "You can't make a monkey out of a Gus." That's what he does. I quite like the randomness of that. Just some weird bloke turning up at the end delivering the punchline. It's a bit like Monty Python, you know, which I suppose was pretty popular at this point. You know, just some random guy turning up saying something random. That almost like means you don't need a proper punchline.
You don't need a proper punchline.
You just have the catchphrase at the end. You know, good thinking.
Well, that's because if I just flip over to the next page following, same as when we get to Zoo Sue, apparently in nearly every episode, Zoo's mum says something along the lines of Zoo can't get the better of Zoo or something. So a mum, it's like, oh.
So that's the end, you know, that because the hardest thing about writing these sort of things is to come up with a good ending.
Yeah.
So if you can end with a catchphrase, you're fine because everybody's sort of waiting for it, and there it is. You've done it.
Yeah.
Zoo Sue is a slightly nightmarish character. I mean, there's a few characters that are slightly nightmarish in my opinion. I mean, Zoo Sue is a girl that can turn into different animals.
Yeah.
So she turns into a turtle here and then upturns somebody's boat. So it must have been a very strong turtle. And then
But crucially, she turns into a turtle still with the head of a little girl. That's where the nightmare factor comes in, isn't it?
Yeah, and then a little bit later on, these sort of little kids rush past her and they grab her ice cream. But she gets the ice cream back by sort of extending this strange chameleon-like tongue, snatching back the ice cream, the aforesaid ice cream. So it's a bit, you know, she doesn't turn into a chameleon or a lizard. She's just, this tongue comes out,
Yeah.
and grab, you know, that you know, put you off eating ice creams for a while. I think we saw that.
And also, I think it's weird that she's called Zoo Suga. Zoo Suga, okay, I've read a lot of these comics. This would be a girl called Sue. Who has a zoo? Not
Zoo from the zoo, or zoo. I don't know.
Or Sue Zoo, I suppose that'd be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Zoo Sue.
It's
Yeah,
fun saying, isn't it? Zoo Sue.
Zoo.
Zoo Sue.
But now,
Ah,
you want to look at this one.
this is Chalky. I remember reading Chalky on the back page of Buster Comics.
So didn't we talk about that?
We may have done, yeah, I think we might have done when we did Buster.
But yeah, no, by all means, carry on.
But he's come from this. I say it's just an example of like these characters start somewhere and then they all basically all end up in Buster. But I thought this was interesting because I always thought that Chalky's had a superpower that he could draw something on a wall and that thing would come to life.
No, you're thinking of Simon and the Land of Chalk Drawings, which was a TV show around this time.
Simon and the Land of Chalk Drawings.
Yeah, it was like
I think I was thinking of
But
that.
it was a little kid, and it was around. Well, actually, it might be a few years later thinking about it. But yeah, a little kid that drew on walls with chalk, and these things would come to life. I mean, good idea. Good idea.
I've never heard of that before.
And what's even weirder is that I'm sure that was never shown in America, but Mike Myers did a send-up of it on Saturday Night Live. Nobody would have ever heard of that in America. Because, of course, he came from here, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's
UK.
got, yeah.
But he still did it on Saturday Night Live. I mean, no one ever heard of that sketch ever again, because I'm sure everyone in America thought, what's going on here?
But they're probably not going, oh, here I am watching Saturday Night Live. I see a sketch that is neither funny nor interesting.
Hey,
As is usual.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live.
yeah, that makes us feel comforted. But Chalky himself,
That was still me and John, by the way, listeners,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just some American.
that was, yeah, no, we have had training. Don't try it at home. Chalky, yes.
I love the fact that what's happening is they're playing a game of cricket and they break a window in something called in the gang hut.
In a gang
You know it's the gang hut because it has gang hut written on it in massive letters. But then also the gang hut has cannons in it
Yes.
and is on wheels so they can chase them down the street. And it's like going, well, I don't remember being in gang huts like that. What was going on there?
I mean, that must have been a very expensive gang hut.
Mm.
That's all I can tell you. And then, yeah, it chases them down the road. So Chalky draws on a nearby fence or something, and he draws a load of cannons on this fence and some, I don't know, some windows with lots of people looking out. So it appears that he has a bigger gang hut than them or something, and they get scared off. But the thing is, the other Chalky strip that we looked at had exactly the same payoff.
Oh, did it? Okay.
You know, 10 years later or whatever it was, is exactly the same. He drew a load of cannons on a fence.
Right.
And, you know, so I don't know if this happened every week, but it was no surprise to me.
No, okay. That's
Now-
interesting.
Now we come to another slightly nightmarish
Oh,
character,
no, this is terrifying.
Jelly Baby. This is like, it's even got a thing where they're watching a horror film.
Because what happens with Jelly Baby is it's basically a baby that's made of jelly and it can stretch everything of parts of its body in
Yeah.
a hideous, terrifying way.
It's all a bit weird. I mean, it's like he goes up to bed, this
Yeah.
baby. He wants to watch the horror film that the parents are watching downstairs. So he extends his neck, first of all the way down the stairs to try and see the television. And then, without further ado, the parents quite happily slam the door in this kid's face.
In the baby's face.
And he's going, ouch, you know. So then he's still wondering about how to watch this film downstairs. So he extends his ears. So it's a baby with giant ears flying down to watch the TV through the downstairs window. But then they get rid of him there. And then in the end, they let him watch it.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing.
They bring the television upstairs to his bedroom. So
That would
he's-
never have happened in my day.
Couldn't get along in an extension cord, could you? Ridiculous.
No. But I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to watch that. Certainly not at night.
But
I still
the thing is,
don't want to watch that.
They watch the horror film which goes, scream, woo woo. And then the dad says, good, that was nice and scary. And his mum said, what did you think of it, Jelly Baby? And the baby is scared and they're surprised. He goes, it's a baby.
Yeah.
You've
yeah.
let the baby watch
Yeah.
the horror film.
You've let the baby down, I think we can say.
Yeah.
So-
So smashing him in the face with it was.
Okay, now we come to Terry Bave, or whatever his name is, and Andy's ants.
Yes, you wish to discuss this.
I wish to discuss it. So Andy is this kid, he's sitting at home, a load of ants come in, and they say, we've asked a few friends from the garden to tea, Andy. Hope you don't mind. And he says, no, of course not. Mum and Dad aren't in, so we might as well start tea now. Now, that's the important thing. They're starting tea. That's the important thing in this story, right? Then suddenly hundreds of ants come in. So Andy's getting annoyed now because all he's got is bread and jam for tea.
Bread and jam for
Bread and
tea.
jam for tea.
I love that.
So he's making some for these ants that have come round. You couldn't make it up, could you? They've eaten all the bread and jam now.
He wasn't expecting so many ants.
So
He hadn't anticipated it, John.
Ah,
Read too many of these comics.
you didn't write this, did you? so then Andy says, I've just enough money to buy some bread and jam for us, meaning him and his, a couple of friends of his that are also ants. Not this other shower that just turned up. So then he says, here we are. Now perhaps we can have our tea. So he gets some more bread and jam. Then the ants say, oh my God, your mum and dad are back now. In come his mum and dad. We've brought our friends back. Get tea for them. There's a good lad. Oh no. So now, he's making more bread and jam for his parents and the friends that have all turned up. They're really enjoying this bread and jam.
Yeah.
They're like, more bread and jam, Andy. The fresh air's given our friends quite an appetite.
For bread and jam.
I guess you didn't have dinner parties in the 70s. You just went around for bread and jam.
Well, they must be around. So what we're not getting here is the parents have clearly been in the pub. They've clearly been in the pub and been like, oh, yeah, come on our house.
Yeah.
I guess, what are you going? I guess, bread and jam. Oh, I love some bread and jam.
Yeah, they've had loads of it. That was the main reason why I wanted to mention this. Just because, is that what people had to eat in 1972 for tea? That was it, was it? Just a load of bread and jam.
You'd eat for tea, you'd either have some bread and jam, or you'd have cheese and crackers. Bread and jam, that's what you'd have, yeah. Bread and jam or cheese and crackers. What were you eating, Eddie? Well, you lived in the south, so you'd be eating foie gras, weren't you, and things like that.
But it's just interesting, isn't it? Is that what the meal, the main meal was in I guess in working class homes in 1972?
Bit of bread and jam.
A load of bread and jam. I mean, what, even for tea?
Especially for tea.
Well, he just keeps going out and getting more of it.
Yeah, because all the shops are fully stocked with bread and jam.
And nothing else.
And that's it. What? Potatoes? What do you want
a bit of variety. Give them some Bovril or something. No, just bread and that's it.
Ridiculous.
Because then
there are different flavours of jam. But then the interesting thing is at the end,
he's
so pleased.
He's forsaken the bread and jam.
They're so pleased, aren't they? Because his friends go, oh, that was brilliant. Clearly drunk. That was amazing.
They were just,
here's loads of money. It's like, you could have got a takeaway.
They're high on bread and jam.
It's a sugar rush.
Yeah, massively. And then so he goes around to the local cafe and he has tons of ice cream to make up for it.
Covered in ants, and the rest, which is,
yeah. I mean, the waiter doesn't mind serving the ants. I mean, he's not that bothered by the look of it. But yeah, just in terms of bread and jam, this took the biscuit.
But then I assume that's the end of the bread and jam story. Though.
No,
what?
Because
what?
If we look at that was almost a cartoon-like expression you did there.
That's good, wasn't it? Yeah.
If you look at the next story, which is about a character who gets hit with a cane a lot,
a child who gets beaten regularly,
called Wacky. That's what he's called. He's always getting whacked.
You wouldn't be allowed to have a story about a child being hit these days, would you?
What's a concept? In this story, they all go for a day trip to wherever they're going. I don't know, and it doesn't say. But then immediately, teacher gets out all the bread and jam sandwiches again.
Oh, bread and jam.
There he is. So jam in this comic is, I wonder if they were sponsoring it. Later on, it does actually say this comic is sponsored by Jam.
Tiptree organisation.
Yeah, Tiptree.
But I love in this with the fact that they've gone off to get the bus, and they've got the bus driver. It's clearly one of those sort of bus drivers.
He hates being there.
He's sitting there with his arms full to go, I'm not getting up. Not even for bread and jam.
I used to hate bus drivers at my school because I used to have to get the bus or the coach every day to school from home.
Yeah.
I remember once I was late back or something. I just said to the black, excuse me, where's this bus going? He said, the moon. Thank you. What an idiot.
What an idiot.
But yeah, anyway, it's just interesting in terms of what delicacies were on offer in the 1970s.
Indeed.
Let's just now look. Aha! Wow. Now, this is one of the most fascinating comic strips I think I've seen since I've been doing this. Did you have a look at this? Rat Trap?
I have read the comic before we started doing the podcast about it, yes.
So
it may not have seemed like it.
No, I can tell you've done vast amounts of research on jam. I'll give you the story so far.
Mostly about jam. The research has been in.
It says here, Rat Trap. To catch Dr. Rat, self-styled king of crime, the government had called in the men from Biff, 6 secret agents of the British Institute for Foiling Felonies. This is drawn in quite a serious style.
It is.
In an adventure strip style. So he says, so now we see we're in a meeting of Biff. And the head of Biff says, to catch this rat, we need only one thing, a rat trap. Biff 1, have you any ideas? Yes, Chief. The construction of a cage from which there can be no escape. And then we see Biff 1.
So just to be clear, Biff 1 is the name of the secret agent.
That he's called Biff 1, so people don't really know who he is.
Exactly. He's got dark glasses on as well, so you can't tell either.
And he's got a badge that says Biff One. I mean, that does give him away.
In case he forgets who it is.
He can look at his lapel there. But he says, just leave it to me. When the rodent robber strikes again, I shall be ready. So he works all week on this special contraption to catch the Dr. Rat, whatever his name is. So Dr. Rat goes into this gallery and he started stealing all these valuable paintings. Oh, but then the agent Biff One, he sets up his special contraption behind one of the paintings.
Yes. What is this? I'm imagining it's going to be some sort of like laser thing or some kind of special trap that will grab him in a force field or something. That's what I'm assuming.
No, you see, it's a little more. You think, you're complicating the issue. What he's made here,
right,
is a contraption that has it's like a boxing glove on a pole,
right,
and also a football boot on a pole. So when Dr. Rat approaches this contraption, the boxing glove on a pole smashes him in the face, and the football boot on a pole kicks him towards a cage.
Right.
That's what he's been working on all week. He's been up all night.
And the British Institute for Falling Families, they're going, is that what are you up to? He goes, oh, it's going to be brilliant. He goes, okay, a football boot and a boxing glove.
Yeah, you really, you've done your homework on this, have you? Sorry, what was your name? Biff One. It's on my badge here.
On my badge.
It doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Does it not work?
Dr. Rat stops himself from going in the cage, and instead he knocks out poor old Biff One and throws him in the cage instead.
With the sound effect, kazuk.
Very good sound
Excellent
effect.
sound effect.
And there's one here, kathing wham gnug. But then everyone next day is discussing the work of the secret agents
across the country.
They're all going, those secret agents.
Yeah.
Do you know what they've been doing? Yeah, I do actually. Well, let's all talk about it then. It says here, next day the news was broken to a stunned British public. Groups of people stood on every street corner, huddled, afraid. Look at them huddling there, afraid.
Biff One is in disgrace. Well, he should be. He's in disgrace. He's in disgrace.
Oh dear, he's been made to hand in his cloak, dagger, and dark glasses. Oh,
that's not all.
What?
The chief of Biff is about to make an appeal to every reader of Core! Exclamation mark, throughout the world.
So this is where it gets really interesting. I thought it was just going to be a normal adventure strip.
It looks like a normal adventure strip.
But then we get to this bit. So this, I've never seen this before or since. So then the blooming head of Biff One that we all know, because he's got a badge on as well.
But it just says Biff.
It does just say Biff. Yeah, maybe they were running.
He's not got a number. Oh, that's probably true.
He's a free man.
Yeah.
So he says here, and then it suddenly says, and here it is addressed to each and every one of you live from London. A bit London-centric even then. Mm-hmm. So the head of Biff says, readers of Core, your country needs you. We, the adult defenders of law and order, have failed miserably to trap Dr. Rat. So it's up to you youngsters now. Listen to me, please. I want you all to design a trap, a rat trap, some devilish device that will end this dastardly doctor's reign once and for all. Official sources are willing to award £1.
£1
for every rat trap used. So start thinking, be clever, be cunning, get your plans down on paper and send them to us at this address. Then you've got the IPC address. So this cartoon character is addressing the audience directly and asking them to send something in. Yeah. I've never seen that before or since.
We have, haven't we? Was J. Edward Oliver, or whatever his name is, in Champ? Didn't they address the audience, say you can help us catch his character?
But I don't think it was a competition.
This isn't a competition the same way you would. I think with that one you would get £1 or whatever the equivalent.
Oh really? I don't remember them being a prize. Or was there?
Yeah, I think there are. And there have been other ones where it's like the haunted house one. There's the one where somebody could stay in the haunted house overnight, and readers would suggest people who they could have in the house, and you would get a prize.
Oh okay. Oh,
but it's been done in those sorts of. But because this one looks like an adventure story, and we're immediately assuming this isn't going to be funny and silly. And it's very funny. It may make it funny, but it's certainly very silly. Like there's a bit where Agent Biff One cries his eyes out, doesn't he? He goes, "Oh, I'm a miserable failure. I'm doomed." He goes, "Right, look, he's taking his glasses off so he can have a proper cry about it."
I wasn't expecting this.
No.
Suddenly, the fourth wall has been broached, and it's a very detailed strip. It doesn't look like a funny strip at all, as you say. And the guy has turned to the camera, if you will, and just invites the audience to get involved. This was created by someone called Scott Goodall.
Oh,
There were 99 installments of this thing,
really?
and illustrated by Giorgio Giorgetti, which sort of rings a vague bell. They interviewed Scott Goodall on one of these blogs, and he said it was the most successful thing he ever did. They got over 1,500 letters a week
Crumbs.
for this, so it was incredibly successful.
And I think maybe one of the reasons was because there's a brilliant bit right at the end. So Dr. Rat at the end, he says, "Yes, ha, 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 rats to them. Those stupid kids couldn't catch a cold in a room full of germs, let alone me. I have only one thing to say to every sap-brained reader of Core, and that's..." And you think that's brilliant, isn't it? So you can imagine being saying, "What? How dare you, Dr. Rat?
Right, I'm going to draw something now."
I'll show you."
So that's what this is all about. Really good use of the audience, really good use of the medium, and I wonder if anyone remembers it. We'll have to ask out there. Do you remember this? Let us know.
I also think it's really interesting how our expectations are framed when we look at this and we go, "This is an adventure story." And then it's not.
I mean, what was also fascinating about it, I mean, it might have just been luck, but this is 3 pages, this story. The first 2 pages, it just looks like a fairly conventional adventure strip. And then, it all goes mad on page 3.
That's true.
It's like a surprise for the readers. I mean, I'm sure they thought about that when they were doing this. When they turn the page, their minds are going to be blown by this sudden communication from one of the comic characters. So, yeah, I really love that.
That's great, isn't it?
So moving on now.
The Super 7.
Yeah.
Again.
So what I wanted to say about this, even though we talked about the Super 7 before, but I really love the Super 7. One of my favourite comic creations. But this is a guest strip. These are the star guests in the Core. It says here, a new fun story of the Super 7 from Knockout. Follow the adventures of the Super 7 each week in Knockout. So this is a new story.
Yeah.
But it's sort of advertising another comic.
And we've had a few of these, haven't we? It's one of these things I thought, I don't ever remember seeing these.
Nor do I.
Popping up.
Was it meant to make you look at another comic?
I guess so, yeah.
Because it said that Core was like the 6th comic IPC had created in this year. So, they were really throwing everything at it.
Exactly.
But what I like about this particular strip is like the 7 kids have all got sort of peculiar ability. They've got one almost like a superpower. And what I loved about this page, there's 10 panels in it. And by the end of it, every character, his power has been illustrated.
Yes.
So this to me is like a sort of masterclass in concise storytelling, because he's got 7. He's shown exactly what these 7 characters can do in one page with the story, with the beginning, the middle, and end. I just thought it was great.
I think I appreciate that. That is definitely true. It's really good. Masterclass in storytelling.
You didn't think so?
It's a masterclass because so what happens is Windy, who I believe his power is to blow.
Like he blows large bubbles. Bubble guns.
But it's that thing that keeps happening. This terrible disillusionment of our childhood. He's blown into a bubble gum. He appears to be blowing helium. If you just blow up a bubble doesn't float with air in it. It's like these flipping balloons you keep seeing in comics that are floating in the air. Balloons do not float in the air. Balloons drop.
I would write to the council.
I would write to council. Why can't we not have helium in our lungs instead?
That's like a staple of like these comics, isn't it?
Okay, let's let that
always happens.
But then what in the second panel it says, right, let's go up this mountainside. What?
Why not? It's there. You're going to go up it, aren't you?
There's a mountain, is there?
Well, it could have been a hill, I suppose, but a mountain, that sounds, it's more dramatic.
But yeah.
They go up the mountain, and then Wanda, you see, who's really good at driving, she shows her driving skills straight away.
She does, yes.
Well done, Wanda, that's what I say.
Well done, Wanda.
And then Thunderball, who's very good with marbles, he rolls a marble down this mountainside, and it becomes a giant snowball as it reaches the foot in the mountain. Something's at foot here. And then Deadeye Dick, who's very good with catapults, he just fires a handy icicle at the balloon bubble.
This is going well.
It bursts. Here comes Whistler. He's very underrated, Whistler.
It's your favourite, isn't he?
He is. I mean, I'm amazed there's no T-shirts. He whistles in such a way that he hypnotises some passing birds.
It is a masterclass in storytelling, this, isn't it? He hypnotises them.
Well, what else is he going to do? I mean, that's very... It's on brand.
It's a limited skill set, isn't it?
Anyway, so the birds, they're under his whistly spell now. So they help him to the ground, this bloke who's blown up this bubble, which is now burst. And he lands on the large snowball. And what happens in the last issue?
The guy goes, hang on a minute, I've got Stinker and Kicker, or whatever his name is.
Stinker and Booter.
Is his name Boot?
So Booter kicks the snowball back up the hill, or
Yeah.
back up the mountainside. And Stinker brings the other bloke around with smelling salts. I mean, that is quite a condensed... That's a lot of information in a small amount of time, isn't it?
Yes.
I think, hats off to the bloke who wrote that.
Well done, him.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm exhausted after that.
That was exhausting, crikey.
Well done.
Well done, everybody. And then if you move over to the next pages,
Here they are.
Ivor Lott and Tony Broke are here. I don't think we need...
The stars of the comic.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were. They were the most popular ones. And they lasted until the space year 2000 and the final issue of Buster Comic.
So Ivor Lott and Tony Broke, they went for years and years and years and outlasted many, many characters.
Kids cannot get enough of Class War, as we've firmly established.
The only thing that's slightly alarming on this is the last panel where the admittedly snooty Ivor Lott is sort of strung up by this crane and belted with a fishing rod.
He's hanging from a hook and being beaten with a piece of wood by his father. Because Gus Gorilla ends with the hero having a fish and chip supper. This ends with the heroes going to have a fish and chip supper, but they haven't got a random man to turn up, so the only option is to have a child being beaten.
Yeah.
Them's the rules.
Those are the rules
That's
in
how
1972, I'm
That's how
afraid.
comics work.
And I'm afraid we can see it again, unfortunately, a bit later on here, because there's a strip called, where is it? Yeah, Teacher's Pet. I mean, it ends with like the teacher running after the girl with a cricket bat.
The cricket bat.
So I think we can just move on from there, and then you wanted to look at Higher a Horror.
Higher a Horror. Yeah, I just thought this interesting because it's so 1970s.
Well, it certainly packs a punch.
It does pack a punch because people get hit in the face.
You wouldn't have that now, would you?
But I love the fact that this is in the 1970s. And what happened in the 1970s? Lots of strikes. What happens in Hire a Horror? The horrors, because the idea is it's a shop where you can hire a monster. So basically some people go to hire a monster and they discover that the monsters have gone on strike. Strike for better pay, better deal for demons, more money for monsters.
So this is reflecting what was going on.
This is reflecting the times. And what happens is then the people, they go to a retirement home and get an old monster to come out of retirement and be a scab. He's a scab monster.
Right.
And to be honest,
Gargo wouldn't have stood for that.
it would not have stood for it. And then he's treated it as a scab as it goes through. They do not approve. He even gets called a blackleg. So one of them says, "Boo, blackleg! You're letting us young horrors down." The struggle is real, John.
Yeah.
The struggle is real. This is
You'll be writing a thesis on this in the
Yes.
next few days.
But it's evidential, isn't it? So I keep banging on about this, but I thought, here it is.
There
Here
you
it's
go.
being expressed.
Great.
But and also, it's like there's one of these things that only ever appear in comics. They go to a fair, and there's a thing where you can get in a ring and have your head kicked in.
For £10 prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of that goes on, isn't there? That happened in Spider-Man, doesn't it? Do you remember that?
Yes, he's in the that's part of his origin, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've very rarely seen somewhere where you can go and have your head smashed in and win 50 quid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be there like a shot if there was. But
I've seen places where you can get that for free. But, that's a...
But I like this again because, this is reflective of the comic as a whole. I just think it's just like really good. I just think there's a lot of detail in it, good writing, and generally speaking, good jokes. And
Good ideas, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
But then, so then we come to the end of this advertisement on the back. It says, collect an Olympic team. That sounds interesting. You can collect a whole series of 8 different Olympic athletes. There's one free inside every special carton of new Sugar Smacks. And each little white plastic model can be painted with the winning country's colours. So start collecting now and get the set. Who knows? If you eat enough Sugar Smacks, you could become an Olympic athlete yourself one day. Either that or your teeth could fall out. One of the two.
I don't think it's part of training these days, is it?
Eat as many Sugar Smacks as possible and you'll become a winning athlete. That's what it says.
You'll become a small plastic figurine.
That's cool, ladies and gentlemen.
So what did you reckon then, John? What did you reckon?
I would be happy to read another issue of that.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
There's no higher recommendation than that.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was full of ideas, generally very well executed.
Yeah.
I just thought there was a lot of thought and care in it. And as to the rat trap feature, I was knocked out by that. So I give it I would say 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Goodness me.
Yeah, maybe 8.
I think it's a really good one. I don't think this is one of the ones where you go, wow, this is amazing.
No, it's not. It doesn't.
It's not crazy. It's not like Crazy. It's not like Wham. It's not one of those.
Well, it's a
not
different
like
humour. It's a different humour. It's not a bonkers humour. It's very straightforward humour.
It's a very good example of this kind of whoopee whizzer and chips. I think what Wham started off, and I'm going to be going on about Wham forever now, but what that started off as, here's a new way of doing it, quite quickly gets sorted out to this sort of, I think it was a whizzer and chips sort of comic.
This one.
Well, yeah, where it's that sort of thing. You're like, 1 pages and 2 pages. I know there's a 3-pager in there, but it's like, here you go, here's a joke.
This is what comics are.
This is what comics are.
And then, Wham is going, no, I'm going to smash through that. It's like, Wham is like the Goon Show, and this is like, I don't know, The Good Life. No, not at all.
It's not the Goodies.
The Goodies. Yeah, maybe the Goodies. Yeah, because in fact the Goodies became a comic strip in Core Comic later on. Yeah. So that's exactly right.
Yeah.
This is more like traditional slapstick humour and fun in inverted commas.
It's like in the world of fashion, when you have your Vivienne Westwoods or whatever, going like, here's a crazy mad thing, and then a year or two later, then you can buy something that's sort of a bit like it at M&S. And this is like that. It's not like the dreary, terrible comics of DC Thompson that we've looked at. But it's like, okay, here we're going to do this. It won't be quite as inventive as the Leah Baxter one, but it's good. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, and all these comics have got really dull characters on the front. Yep. That's what I can't understand. This Core is sort of being sold on the back of Gus Gorilla, who is of very little interest.
Yes.
I mean, why didn't they use somebody more interesting, like Andy Zantz? Well, maybe not him, but somebody more interesting, should we say? Yeah. But I still thought it was an inventive comic, and it sums up to me what sort of funny comics were in the 70s in a way.
Yeah, I agree. So, all that remains is me to present you with next time's comic.
All right.
And next time, the character on the cover of this one, I don't think you're going to say that he's a boring character. For lo, it is Tommy Cooper on the front cover of Film Fun from 1959.
By jingo, we're going back a little bit there, aren't we?
We are indeed.
And it's still almost in one piece, so that's good to see. Blimey. It says here a 5-star weekly, but we mustn't let that influence us.
It's tempting, however tempting it may be.
Great. Lovely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, then. All right, everybody. You are now dismissed from this meeting.
Class dismissed.
Bye.
Farewell.